Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video we're doing a bit of a showcase on probably the most fun character to release ever, really, in my opinion, in terms of the mechanics and in terms of the way the character operates. And they actually got a level limit break plus quite a while ago. However, I never had the unit finished. However, now I actually managed to pick up the last copy I needed. I had a spare copy and I just sort of copped the L and just used that. It's just sitting in my box collecting dust anyway. So we are taking a look at Gear Change Tank Man Luffy. Now, this guy came out yonks ago. Like, he came out around the 3rd year anniversary, I think, around the Big Mom and Brook release just before that. So somewhere between 3rd year and 4th year, which is just seems like forever ago now that we're approaching 9th anniversary. But this guy did get a few big buffs with his level limit break. So if you manage to pull 10 copies of this guy, most people have this unit because of the new Sugo Fest that came out with Katakuri and his 6+ being the very first Snake Man. But that unit is a complete side grade to what this unit can actually do. And with his level limit break, he can do some pretty cool stuff. But the way the character operates is if you eat a recovery orb, or if you hit a perfect with that unit, you build up a gear charge. When you hit 4 gear charges, you can change from gear 2 into gear 3. And then if you get to 8 gear charges, you can go from gear 2 to gear 3 or straight up to gear 4. And then you're in gear 4 for 3 turns, but you can change out of it if you want to and keep the remaining charges. You lose 3 charges every time you're in gear 4. However, when you're in your gear 3, you actually don't lose any charges whatsoever. So as a captain, you can do some pretty cool stuff with his captain action. In gear 3, you do more damage after hitting 2 perfects. In gear 4, you do like a butt ton more damage. And then in gear 2, you do like the base rate and multiplier, but you don't have to hit any like prerequisites. However, the units have different matching orbs depending on what variation you're in. So quick, psi, and I want to say strength, but I don't think so. But with the character's special, they were the Luffy, sorry. With the Luffy special, he was the attack booster for his team. So as you guys will see here, he's our attack booster for the squad. But now with his level limit break, he's an attack boost on 1 turn, and if you hit 2 perfects, he becomes an orb boost on the next turn. So very, very cool stuff that you can carry over a buff. Plus, running 2 Luffys now has a lot of viability because you can get an orb buff with one, carrying from stage 4 into stage 5, and get an attack boost with the other one on the final stage. When you use the Luffy special 2, you go immediately into gear 4, and if you eat over 10 recovery orbs, you actually go into the Tank Man, which is the big fat version of Luffy, and you can do some pretty cool stuff there. Unfortunately, I don't showcase that in this particular video because that particular form is not that amazing for what you get. I think he gives himself like an extra 0.25. It's like a 5.5 times captain to himself, and then like 5.25, which is the same as what gear 4 is for everyone else. But you just get damage reduction. And in today's day and age, like, you don't really need to stall, you don't really need to take hits, you don't need to really heal. However, the way they want you to use this guy is to either stall out stages, hit perfects, because you get 1 charge for each of them every single turn, as long as you hit that perfect, and then you get 1 charge for each of them as long as you hit a recovery orb. So the unit isn't designed really to no-stall content. However, we did dive into Revolution Army 2 straight away, and we actually managed to no-stall it, which was pretty cool, seeing as all of these units are very old characters, 2 free-to-play characters in Okiku and Zoro. Sober Mask has been out literally for as long as this Snake Man has, this Luffy has been out as well, and then Verse Ace, he's been out for forever as well. So pretty accessible team, pretty buildable team. However, you do need the requisites of the support on Ace, as well as the level limit break 5 of Luffy. So I do understand that's probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So he can do some pretty cool stuff when you are doing long content, because getting those gear charges can be very easy as long as you get your special charge. But you can basically just freely swap between gear 2 and gear 3 every single turn, provided you already have hit that sort of 4 cuff. Now, if you need to hit the 2 perfects, going into gear 3 is awesome. It works amazingly well with his special because you can very easily hit 2 perfects because you do no damage to the first 2 shots. The captain multiplier kicks in once you hit 2 perfects. So the way they designed this character is really, really cool. And one of his big flaws that he always had was eating a recovery orb. However, you need to hit a perfect with him at the same time. Now, as a captain, you can eat recovery orbs through perfects, which is just such a buff to this character. So now if you actually have a character that can start with full board of recovery orbs, or you get a recovery orb on your Luffy, you can still hit that perfect and get 2 charges for your Luffy, which is incredibly valuable when it comes to getting into that gear 4 stage, because that is where you do most of your damage. That's where Luffy is at his best, as his captain multiplier is a massive 5.25, I'm pretty sure. It's something like that. So it's around that, and it's rainbow to everyone. So it's insanely powerful. It's incredibly good. And this unit has been a lot of fun for a very long time. Obviously, once he got his 6+, it did make him a little bit different, because he became a strength unit, he became a powerhouse fighter, and he became all about speed, which was very reminiscent of what Snake Man provides. But this particular character is designed to sort of take his time, hit the perfects, get some recovery orbs, and build up those charges. As a captain as well, he increases the chance of landing on recovery orbs. I didn't really find that too amazing. It's nothing like Nami getting tandem orbs, or something like Lucci and his chance of landing on matching orbs. However, the option there is actually very nice, and it does increase the chance of seeing those recovery orbs, so you can see more gear charges as well. So it's definitely not a bad thing that they added that. I just think that they should have probably increased it just a little bit to make it a little bit more viable in today's day and age, as those recovery orbs being matching, obviously with Luffy as well, it is just way more beneficial if you actually can see them a lot more often. So very powerful captain, very, very good stuff. His special did get an incredibly big buff as well, but as a captain is where you're pretty much going to see most of this guy's play, but you can definitely use him as a sub as well. Using him as a sub, though, does hinder your teams quite drastically, because then you don't have access to the captain action, which is like this guy's big gimmick. So if you do use him as a sub, he's basically your attack booster and your orb booster, but you'll never see him in anything besides his in his gear 2 form. So as a captain in the Bound Man, he's a 5.25 times captain. As I said, he reduces damage by 20% and makes strength, quick, and sight always beneficial for all characters. If you do get that tank man form after eating 10 recovery orbs, as I said, he's a 5.55 to himself, and then everyone else is 5.25, and then he's just like 50% damage reduction. So it's a much bigger buff for Luffy, and the damage reduction is insane, but again, it's something that you don't really need. And if you are running content like arenas and stuff like you're about to see now, most of the time you can easily stall out a couple turns and then get into the gear 4, the Bound Man, and that way you will be in a pretty good step for amount of damage that you need to take down most stages. As gear 3, he's a 4.25 times captain. Or sorry, I take that back. I thought he was just like a not captain at all. So turns out he's a 4.25 times captain at the start of the chain, and then 4.75 after 2 perfects. And if you're in gear 2, then you get a 4.5 times captain to everyone. In gear 3, he makes strength and recovery, and then in gear 2, he makes quick and recovery. So if you're running the 2 of them together, you can actually get a lot more out of having a gear 2 and a gear 3 like counterpart. But if you do go into the Bound Man form, then you can actually get sight always beneficial as well. So with his special did get actually a ridiculous buff, and it's all about damage if he's a sailor, but as a captain, they added a bunch of stuff that makes him a little bit more viable in terms of utility value. So he deals 250 times his attack in typeless damage to all characters, and then boosts attack of all characters by 2.25 for 1 turn, makes recovery and tandem was beneficial for 3 turns. And if you score 3 perfect, sorry, not 2, boosts the it says the boost the attack of all characters, but it's definitely the orbs. Boost the orbs of all characters by 2.5 for 1 turn in the following turn. If your captain is the friend captain or your captain, reduces the increased defense duration by 6 turns and bind and attack down by 6 turns, and then transforms into gear 4 as well. So as you guys have seen through this run as well, the attack down and the bind removal is incredibly valuable. Because it's 6 turns, characters that can do 6 turn debuffs are so good in stuff like Kazuna. They're so good in endgame content where a lot of very annoying debuffs hit around that sort of 6 to 7 mark, and it means you have to bring sort of 2 characters to get around something, or a support and a character that can remove at least 4 to 5 turns. But the fact that this guy can remove 6 is just insanely valuable. It makes him as a captain even more valuable if you do want to run content and have a little bit of fun with it as well. So because he's a rainbow captain, you can chuck anything on the team. He's basically all your damage, attack, and orb boosting as well. So you don't really need too much else besides maybe like a color affinity booster and something like a Sabo I found works insanely well as a sub underneath Luffy. The rest of the time, you can just fill it out with stuff like cooldown reducers, stuff like Carrot. I mean, loving Carrot's level limit break lately. She's a great cooldown reducer. Kinemon works insanely well for free spirits and slashes. And other units like Pudding can definitely see play. And Sasaki as well. So any character that can give cooldowns is going to make this guy a little bit faster. But as I said, and as you saw in this Drey clip, they don't really want you to run him in that sort of way of no stalling, but you definitely can do it. And the best way to do it with no stalling is to bring a character that can give you 6 recovery orbs at the start of the quest. So when this guy initially dropped, he came out with a Legend Nami, he came out with a Rare Recruit Chopper and a Rare Recruit Brook. And the Chopper, I believe, had a Sailor ability that lets you start with 6 recovery orbs. Now, another unit that came out a little bit later with Luffy Sanji was actually this Nami you see on this team right here. She does the exact same thing, but she also gives cooldowns. She has double special activation as well. Her cooldown is fairly high, but it is something that is very, very nice if you ever get special reverse or anything like that. Because you can easily use this Nami to give the cooldowns, plus she gives you the 6 recovery orbs at the start of the fight as well. So as you can see, we're hitting perfects with Luffy, we're still getting those recovery orbs, which is great, and we can get ourselves 7 charges on the first turn. Now, if there's not 6 enemies, you're probably only going to see 6 charges, but remember, you are going to keep that recovery orb into the next stage, and as you can see here, by turn 3, we already have Luffy at his max charge, which is insane. To get 8 charges by turn 3 makes this unit so good, because you can then just immediately jump straight into gear 4, and that way you get the crazy 5.25 times captain for 3 turns, and then you also get the 20% damage reduction if you need it. So as you can see, we just binked ourselves straight into the bound man, and as long as you just bring like one character that has barrier pen here, I think the Pudding definitely helps out a little bit there too, but some good level limit breaks on show right here, actually, with Carrot and Pudding as well. But yeah, the fact that you can get into his gear 4 like straight away by turn 3 means that the rest of the content, you're basically running a 5.25 Rainbow Captain. 5.25 Rainbow Captain is nothing to scoff at. Obviously, he does suffer from the fact he doesn't have a super class or a super type, but as a captain, you do get all that extra beneficial utility, which can kind of make content a lot easier for you as well. Now, ideally, you could easily pop his special here to remove the bind, but unfortunately, there was a reason that I didn't do that. The reason I didn't do that was because I was running Carrot, and Carrot, when you swap into your captain, then Luffy's special does get hindered, as I was talking about earlier. So just be mindful of that if you are running Luffy in that sort of way. But the bind removal, the attack down removal, the defense up removal, it's just all such a super nice little addition to this particular character. Plus, they gave him an extra turn of damage, so like you can carry that in. Now, I will be doing a showcase on Snake Man, his counterpart, or his 6+, and obviously if you have this unit, you have that unit, you can just chop and change between as long as you have the skulls. So let me know in the comment section below which unit you like more, the speed demon of V1 Snake Man, or do you prefer the fun sort of intricate mechanics of the captain action bound man Luffy. I love this Luffy. I loved him on release. I still love him to this day. I think the gear changing action is just such a cool mechanic, and I hope in the future they really look into captain actions and try and make them incredibly powerful, incredibly valuable for some way, just like they have kind of done with like verse abilities, and trying to revamp them in that particular way, because it's in the game. It's in the game, you may as well use it. You have to take a look at Frankie as well. His captain action is incredibly broken, and you could do some really, really cool stuff there with all of those particular abilities. But that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions of this character in the comment section below, and remember, don't forget to let me know which one you like more. Do you like Luffy in his Bound Man or Luffy in his Snake Man? While you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.